नहीं मालूम, they can start this course. It's very easy. This can be adopted by any student, any lecturer, any professor. ये कोई भी कर सकता है. Let's come back to the first screen. एक ही स्क्रीन में सारे डिटेल्स अवेलेबल हैं. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज माइंड मैपिंग. आप एक साथ ही पूरी चीजें समझ सकते हैं. इस स्क्रीन पे आपको नजर आ रहा है एआई फॉर बिगिनर्स बाय माइक्रोसॉफ्ट. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस फॉर बिगिनर्स बाय माइक्रोसॉफ्ट. On the left hand side you find somebody writing as good old fashioned AI. On the right hand side somebody is writing it as neural networks deep learning. इसको समझने के लिए आपको ये समझना है कि व्हाट एवर ह्यूमन इंटेलिजेंस इज, दैट इज कॉल्ड नेचुरल इंटेलिजेंस. जो इंसान का दिमाग जो चलता है, जैसा भी चलता है, उसका इंटेलिजेंस जो है, उसका काम करने का जो तरीका है, देन वी कॉल इट ह्यूमन इंटेलिजेंस. एंड बिफोर दैट वी हैव डिफाइंड व्हाट इंटेलिजेंस इज. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर आपके टेबल पे एक ग्लास ऑफ वाटर है और आपको हाथ लगाने से पहले आप सोचते हैं कि गर्म है, ठंडा है. गर्म है तो हाथ नहीं लगाते, ठंडा है तो हाथ लगाते. दैट इज what is called as intelligence. You're intelligently working to touch it or not to touch it. तो जिंदगी में जो डिसीजंस लेते हैं आप इंटेलिजेंटली लेते हैं. सुबह में बाहर निकलने से पहले मुंह धो के बाहर निकलना, नाश्ता करने से पहले हाथ धो के नाश्ता करना, all of this happens to be because of human intelligence. अगर आप इंटेलिजेंट नहीं होते तो आप ऐसे नहीं काम करते. लोगों को जो ऐसे नहीं काम करते, हम उसको मैड गाय बोलते हैं, दीवाना है, क्योंकि उसका इंटेलिजेंस बिल्कुल वो काम नहीं कर रहा है. What is artificial intelligence? The machine intelligence is called as artificial intelligence. इस फिगर में आप राइट हैंड साइड पे देख रहे हैं कि एक ब्रेन रखा हुआ है. That is nothing but human intelligence. On the left hand side, it's the cloud which is similar to brain. The figure of a cloud is similar to brain. मतलब आप जो भी इंटेलिजेंस रख रहे हैं, you are putting onto the cloud and you are trying to extract that in your algorithms. आप उसको अपने algorithm से यूज करते हैं. That is what is called as artificial intelligence. So down the line, neural networks, क्योंकि आपका दिमाग में न्यूरॉन्स होते हैं, स्मॉल स्मॉल सेल्स हो जिसको हम न्यूरॉन्स बोलते हैं. एक गैर मामूली एक अजीब नेटवर्क है, one connected to the other, and all of them are working together. So scientists, intelligent people, computer people have made a lot of research on that. So there comes a subject called as computer neural networks. It also leads to deep learning. आप और थोड़ा डेप्थ में जाके सीखते हैं. और बीच में जो सिंबल है, एक डायग्राम है, दैट इज ऑल अबाउट सिंगल न्यूरॉन. एक न्यूरॉन का जो स्ट्रक्चर होता है वो बताया गया है. वी विल नॉट गो इनटू द डीप डेप्थ ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल साइंसेस. हम एक ओवरव्यू पढ़ने के लिए इंटेलिजेंस के बारे में हम लोग ये देख रहे हैं. The next part is knowledge representation. आपको जो भी मालूमात है, whatever we have, whatever we gain is called as knowledge. Knowledge is nothing but information. For example, you want to go from Hyderabad to Delhi. You have a knowledge that you have to go to railway station to book a ticket, or you have to go online to IRCTC website to book a ticket. इसको हम बोलते हैं knowledge. Knowledge होना जरूरी है तो आप इंटेलिजेंस यूज कर सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपको मालूम होना चाहिए तरकारी बनाने में आपको भिंडी यूज होती है, फला फला यूज होती है. आपको ये मालूम होना चाहिए कि घास यूज नहीं होता. ग्रास इज नॉट an eatable vegetable, so we don't use that. That is called as knowledge. Knowledge is very important to get intelligence. उसको represent करना है तो you should know how to communicate with people, how to communicate with computer. So there should be a means of communication. हम इसको बोलते हैं knowledge representation बोलते हैं. Knowledge representation का जब और ज्यादा उसका वैल्यू बढ़ जाता है, then we call it wisdom. डिसीजन मेकिंग में अगर नॉलेज सही यूज हो रहा, देन वी कॉल इट विजडम. एन ओपन मॉडल ऑफ नॉलेज इज कॉल्ड एज विजडम. बेसिकली जो आपके पास है उसको डेटा बोलेंगे, अगर वो काम का है तो उसको इंफॉर्मेशन बोलेंगे. अगर वो इंफॉर्मेशन को यूज करके आप अच्छा कुछ कर रहे हैं, दैट यू हैव नॉलेज अबाउट इट, देन यू डू मच बेटर डिसीजंस. यू कॉल इट विजडम. यू आर नॉट नैरोइंग डाउन योर नॉलेज, यू आर पुटिंग सम elasticity to your knowledge. मतलब आप थोड़ा सा उसको ब्रॉडर व्यू में देख रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, टुडे यू डिजाइन एन एस्केलेटर. अगर आप एक एस्केलेटर लिफ्ट डिजाइन कर रहे हैं तो आप 4 स्टोरी बिल्डिंग डिजाइन करें. but tomorrow it can go to 20-story building, 100-story building. So your knowledge should cater wisdom. मतलब आपका knowledge ऐसा होना चाहिए कि वो wisdom के तहत use हो. On the right hand side, you have something called as computer vision. Computer is a machine. If you see anything on it and represent something on it, you call it as computer vision. For example, अगर आपको कहीं जाके presentation देना है, you take the help of PowerPoint. So we call that as computer vision. So some kind of vision is used, some kind of aesthetics is used to represent your data in an appropriate manner. Then you have a word called ontologies. You Google it and find out. I have a Google next to me. Let me just help myself again. So it's about the branch of metaphysics dealing with the nature of being. इंसान के बारे में अगर आप in depth पढ़ना चाह रहे हैं, then you call it ontology. Anatomy से word बनता है ontology. So it's nothing but study of human being. The next is expert system. जो भी आप system बना रहे हैं, जो भी machine बना रहे हैं, you call yourself expert if you stand good in that particular subject. So machine becomes expert if it stands very good in that particular subject. तो आप जो सिस्टम बना रहे हैं, if you are trying to making one of the good system, you call it expert system. For example, metro train system is an expert system because it knows where to start, where to end, what are the timings therein, what are the sensors therein, how to open the door, how to close the door. सारा जो system बना हुआ है काफी अच्छा बना हुआ है, then we call it expert system. Next, on the right hand here, you have got something called as convolutional networks. Because AI is basically a network of networks or neural networks, बहुत सारे networks use होते हैं, हम आगे पढ़ते हैं, तो इसमें convolutional networks भी एक type of network है. We will go into that sometime later. Then down the line you have a multi-agent system. That means when you're developing a machine, when you're developing an intelligent machine, probably you are doing in bits and pieces. Each one could be called an agent of a particular assignment. एक particular काम करने के लिए एक agent को assign कर दी. For example, Mohsin is assigned to do one particular task, so he is one agent. Mr. Ahmed is assigned another task to do another work, and he is another agent. So and so forth. All of this comes into integration model. Probably I am doing integration, so I call myself as a multi-agent person. So I do all of these things together. Next, generating algorithms also are very important. हमको अपने आप को align करना पड़ता human body से, human network से, human intelligence से. So DNA का जो symbol है, that is also to study, to understand how the human behavior is evolved right from a child to a middle-aged guy to an adult to an old person. इसके development जैसा हो रहे हैं, our intelligence system AI should also follow similar process. On the right hand side, you find GAN, you find VAE, you find NLP. These are all abbreviations of some types of AI networks, artificial intelligence networks. On the extreme right, you have word to vec embedding. Word to vec, then embedding, then you have got recurrent networks, then you have got transformers. Word to vec may be something related to you speak out or you text it gets converted into command. Example, on a command आप program में उसको embed कर रहे हैं, then that particular on spelled properly is taken as a string and compared to put on a particular device. So we try to do that way to transform our command, a text command, a word command into required action. Embedding is nothing but putting some kind of action, some kind of reality into a machine. It's called as embedding. For example, robot में आप एक particular program embed कर देते हैं, chip में एक program embed कर देते हैं. That's called putting something inside is called as embedding. Then recurrent networks, वो network जो बार-बार algorithm को repeat करता है. then you call it a recurrent network. Transformers, yes, whatever you are telling, whatever you're doing is getting transformed to actions, is all about transformation. So in short, this particular page, this particular screen talks about mind mapping. एक बार में आपको समझ में आता है कि what all you would be doing in AI. The details are available down. Let's go back to the contents. In coming sessions, what all we will be studying is put here. The first one is introduction to AI, introduction and history of AI. Then you go with a test. आप एक test लिखते हैं. Every particular class starts with a pre-quiz test and a post-quiz test. The three questions before the start of the session. There are three questions with multiple choices. You need to answer one among them. अगर वो true है तो आपके screen पे true आ जाता है, अगर गलत है तो false आ जाता है. So you know where you stand. And after the session gets completed, you again have a quiz where you would answer it to know your stand on your ability of learning. आप कितना सीखे, कितना नहीं सीखे. You get 3 out of 3 you have learned full. You get 2 out of 3 you have partially learned. 1 out of 3 maybe more or less learning. 0 of 3 you haven't learned anything. Then symbolic AI, the symbols used in AI, वो हम पढ़ेंगे. All of these three is a part of your introduction. Second session is about knowledge representation and expert systems. हम second session में knowledge कैसा represent करना, expert system कैसा बनना वो पढ़ेंगे. The third session is introduction to neural networks. Having studied about anatomy of human being or ontology, the subject of human study, we have studied that. Then we try to put that in our computer language, in our computer intelligence. Then we should understand what is the perceptron. It comes from the word perception. जो आप सोचते, जैसा आप करना चाहते. न्यूरॉन के बराबर perceptron भी है. So perceptron is what you perceive, what you understand. So you understand that and you develop a perceptron and you test it. So we are using a software here called as Notebook. So we have to do some lab exercise in the coming sessions. From third lesson, probably you are also doing something practical to go hand in hand with AI learning. For the first two sessions, it's only theoretical part, but from the third session, you have got a lab part as well. The fourth session is about multi-layered perceptron and creating our own framework. One neuron, one network से और दूसरे नेटवर्क कैसा इंटरलिंक करना, इंटररिलेट करना, and all of this should go with a particular framework. We should be in the same page जो बोलते हैं ना, वो हिसाब से हम कैसे करेंगे, practically हम देखेंगे in the fourth session. So to understand more, we are going to use a framework. It could be PyTorch or TensorFlow. So you should install this one of these, or you can install both of them. So in the fifth session, you'll be ready with the framework. You'll install this, either the TensorFlow or a PyTorch, and start working on it. Then computer vision related to our AI is discussed here. Then how would you represent that using any of these two softwares? Computer vision, like you talk about pie charts, you talk about bar charts. It's kind of representation of your performance, of the network performance, of the AI performance. OpenCV is another software, just like PyTorch and Touch and TensorFlow. We will discuss about that in the sixth session. It is used for computer vision. Then we talk about a special architecture of AI, CNN. बहुत सारे architecture CNN है, GNN है, ANN है. So one among that we are talking about CNN, which stands for Convolutional Neural Networks. How good it is for our AI, हम इसको पढ़ेंगे in detail in the seventh session. Then we have got on the right hand side you find 4 columns. Text है, PyTorch, TensorFlow Lab. Text is nothing but the content that we share with you for learning, for teaching. PyTouch is a software and the TensorFlow is a software where we'll do, and the lab is the lab activity. हमको activity क्या करना है, क्या challenge क्या है. Every lesson will have some lab activity and as well as a challenge to do. Eighth session is talking about pre-trained networks and transfer learning training tricks. Before starting the network, before starting your AI, you have to train it. That is called as already trained करे हुए networks होते हैं, जिसको हम बोलते हैं pre-trained. For example, Alexa is there. It is already trained to understand your language. आप जैसा उसको train करेंगे, switch on the light, the light on हो जाता है. Switch off the light, lights off हो जाते हैं. So already some algorithm is written inside, and some network is already active there. इसको हम बोलते हैं pre-trained network. Just like आपका जो system चल रहा है, ऑलरेडी इसके अंदर बूट लोडर है, उसके अंदर ऑलरेडी आपके पास विंडोज ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम है. इट इज ऑलरेडी ट्रेन टू गेट अक्वेंटेड विद व्हाट यू टाइप, व्हाट यू अंडरस्टैंड. इट्स अ वर्ड आप ओपन करते हैं, यू टाइप द टेक्स्ट, इट अंडरस्टैंड्स. अगर आप गलत भी करते तो इट करेक्ट्स फॉर यू. वहां अंडरलाइन कर देता है, रेड लाइन if it is wrong, something like that. So it is pre-trained to get hands on hand with the user. After this pre-trained network, we have the next session, that is the ninth session, that is auto encoders and VAs. So we will discuss in subsequent chapters each of these things. So in short, our whole study is put up into 24 sessions that will slowly cover up in 12 weeks. Probably 2 sessions per week. हम हर week में 2 sessions करेंगे. That should be enough for us with a little more practice. Maybe my class will go from half an hour to 1 hour. Then you have to redo that. My audio recording and video recording will be presented to you. The text is also sent to you. ये text को आप audio में convert करके will tell you how to go through that. So it will read it for you and you can enjoy the session. So pre-test is important, pre-quiz is important, post-quiz is also equally important. Then some assignments are there. Every session will have maybe an assignment, maybe some lab activity or some challenges to get on to this particular subject. And meanwhile, you should also know how to go with GitHub. You can have your own GitHub account. Maybe I will discuss about GitHub account in one another class. You can have your own GitHub account, host this particular content in your own GitHub. The way these guys have already posted it. This is GitHub account from where we are talking about. The whole file is also downloaded. We can share you the PDF as well. This is the PDF format running a few pages, 108 pages. It starts with the first screen, introduction to AI. This is a little different screen. This we can take it up for the next section. The first chapter will start in the next session and get going on. Now the discussion is open for the audience. आप लोग कुछ doubts पूछना है पूछ सकते हैं. आप लोग अपना mic on करके पूछ सकते हैं. Any questions? It's welcome. This is only an intro part. So tomorrow we will have a session directly about the first session AI. Any questions? Mohsin, questions? Okay. Thank you. मैं रिकॉर्ड ऑफ कर दिया. वो कहानी देखो जरा.